We have an announcement to make, which we're very excited to make, but like most big announcements, I've typed it out.
You can hold it up so you know what the announcement.
Yeah, so I'm gonna read it, which I apologize for the lack of eye contact. But
Should I just
this
stare at the
will give
camera
you
the whole
your
time?
fill while I read.
Okay, you read and
Okay.
I'll just stare.
Recently, Brooke and I were sitting in an Airbnb with some friends late into the evening talking about life. When asked, we began sharing to this group why we decided to stop the t-shirt side of our business over 5 months ago and how hard yet peaceful it was. After this conversation, someone in the room spoke up and said, "You know, earlier today in our meeting when you were encouraging someone else in the group to consider slowing down, to hit pause, I know you were speaking to them and their circumstances, but that was also really encouraging to me to slow down." She went on to explain that she felt like the person at the circus who's spinning plates on little sticks. She explained how she started spinning these plates and she feels like they just need to keep spinning because that's what you do, right? It was the perfect analogy for what we felt at different points in our lives. We started a little t-shirt company and with it that plate started to spin. And as we started to grow, we added more plates on top of it, employees, subcontractors, inventory overhead, retail stores, and more. And then people, you lovely people, started following our spinning plates on Instagram and all over the internet. So now we definitely couldn't let them come crashing down. Years ago, we had other spinning plates too. Brooke, you start spinning these ones. The biggest one being,
It's like I'm throwing a pizza.
being Brooke's photography company. But after years of keeping that plate spinning and making it bigger and bigger, it came time to have kids and slow down and take our weekends and schedule back for ourselves. So we grabbed that spinning plate that was spinning at full speed and set it on the shelf. It may have cracked a little when we did that, and we certainly knocked a few smaller plates off our sticks that smashed in the process, but the relief we felt when we decided to stop and focus on Walk in Love was good. And over time, that same thing happened with Walk in Love. For example, we used to have retail stores, but they just weren't for the best for us or for our finances, so we stopped those plates and let them fall to the ground. Then came our big announcement and decision on December 3rd, where we told you guys that we were stopping the t-shirt plate and smashing it on the ground. We certainly thought about gently taking it off its prop and resting it nicely on the shelf, but we knew deep in our hearts that doing so wouldn't really provide us with what we were needing. That wasn't what we were being asked to do. This was definitely the hardest of the plates for me to stop spinning, and for Brooke because she cried so much. But knowing that the Lord had been leading me there for almost a year, the decision brought so much peace with it. Then we entered the last 5 months of really starting to try to figure out who we were away from our businesses. What do we want our lives to look like? What matters to us? And how on earth are we going to make a living? Weeks and weeks went by and the conversation swirled. We talked about everything over and over and over and over again. We cried about deep things on our hearts and encouraged each other to do and start things we had once been fearful to do. It's been a season of slowness, but mostly it's been a season where we just aren't looking up at the spinning plates from down below, doing everything we can to keep them from falling or crashing into one another. It's been a season of looking at each other, at our kids, at our lives, at our hearts, because our hands and eyes were free to do so. Naturally, one of the most frequent conversations was about our occupation. And we know that whatever we do, we want to work at it with all our heart as working for the Lord. But I personally kept coming up short on what I was working at. And as our conversation circled about what we'd like to do, like what we feel deep in our bones we were made and gifted to do, we kept coming back to the things we used to do. I love designing and selling t-shirts with my whole heart, and Brooke loves photography. We started to reconsider those things, but with fresh eyes. They've always been the things we've loved, but when we turned them into businesses, we switched the focus from passion to growth, and they took control of us, mostly me, if I'm being honest. So we looked at the plates that we had smashed in the ground and started to have a conversation. What if we picked those back up again? But only pieces of them, and started spinning again. What if we left that piece on the floor and that piece on the floor and just put together the pieces that allowed us to live with less, keep a slow pace, but still have enough income to make a living. And those conversations have led to this announcement. We are back. Back again? No, I'm just kidding. But our plates look different. We're going to sell t-shirts again, but it won't be the same because we are leaving so many of those pieces of that once giant plate on the ground. Now, we know that the plates might not spin with the efficiency that they once had, but that's okay. And people might get confused about what exactly we do and why things are different, but that's okay. Because we don't let the internet tell us who to be. We instead listen to a great God who has given us gifts that we want to use while still humbling ourselves before Him. So thank you. If you've sent us an encouraging word or comment while we've been and continue to be on this journey, we are humbled you've decided to follow along and come alongside of us. We hope that our story continues to inspire you to slow down, figure out why you do, what you want your life to be like, and how you can choose joy and walk in love in the middle of those long, slow seasons of life. And back to the spinning plate analogy. We don't believe that the goal is to not have any plates spinning. We all have them. That's life. Family, work, hobbies, etc. Instead, the goal is not to be so worried about the plates crashing or so focused on the size and scale of your plate that you spend all of your time looking up at them and not at your real life in front of you. Or maybe the goal for you is to not be so fearful of what others might think if you decide to intentionally let some of those plates fall to the ground. I hope we can encourage you to remember that they're your plates and this is your one life. Make sure you're only spinning what you need to be and then let the rest fall. The details about how those shirts will be coming back will be posted sometime soon. But in the meantime, you can head to our site if you want to be the first to know. We'll ask for your email, blah, blah, blah. We really do love and appreciate all of you so much and are excited to keep sharing our journey with y'all. See you.